Dungeon Damsels.
Wow!
Ah! So, last time on Dungeon Damsels, Luna went to the lore matron, Eha, and inquired after Colum, Liam, and her opinion on the execution of Mara. You found out that she has her reservations about Colum and Mara being together romantically, that she has her own romantic interest in her employee Liam, but is holding back for some reason, and is opposed to Mara's execution from the start. She agreed to send Liam on a business trip to Vergus of the promise of a lot of valuable fur trade, which is true. Tarina did some research into the Fae. The Fae forests are and found out that the Fae forests are actually a different plane. There are 4 courts with Queen Sabra of the Autumn Court, Kiranel of the Spring Court, King Elia of the Winter, and King Tyr of the Summer. They tend to keep to themselves in their realms, but they're responsible for just the distribution of magic into plants. They're kind of like magic honeybees. But occasionally they do like to come in and come out and play. She then cleverly wrote out her current situation and told Ellie into her diary and told Ellie to not read it. This is how the team discovered that Tarina has been forced into secrecy by her patron, the Archfey Queen Sabra. She has a task for Tarina, namely to find her a new pet, preferably a drow. And then Tarina is to lead this new pet into the fairy circle on the outskirts of the city, and then he or she will be spirited away from there. Keyanthi and Tarina both got a magic mirror call from Celiana Rowanwood. Gundrick, she congratulated Tarina for successfully sabotaging the wedding between Erevan and Nessa, and informed Tarina that he will be in transit going to the Arcanic Empire and that you will be able to rescue him there. You also had a nice chat with Ariadne. She asked for an update from Keyanthi. When you relayed your troubles and you're running with Order, you found out that Celiana would often clean up Order's messes when they were younger, in their riotous drinking days. She then indicated that the Braden house would be a suitable safe house, and that a little bribery goes a long way. Then, as a team, you decided that speaking to High Priestess Avra about Mara's execution would be the most prudent way to deal with the situation. So Luna as herself and Tarina disguised as her brother Lionel, the two of you convinced, albeit not happily, but convinced the High Priestess that the execution would reflect poorly on foreign affairs, and she called it off. Your tasks are, Tarina, you have to get a new pet for your patron. Keyanthi, you have to find 3 spies for Celiana and the safe house. Luna, you have Liam mostly squared away, but the demon portal's been nagging at you. Ellie, you have secured a path to the capital with the Arcane Boys, but you're also worried about Adlana's fate in the portal that she fell through. So, hang on. I want to just divert our attention briefly, because I have a little spotlight.
Yay, spotlight!
Yay, spotlight.
Share screen. And her name is... There we go. Her name is Jacqueline Deleon. She's a local artist, and she does super cool, witch art. And this is some of her, watercolor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she, only draws girls, which is fine. I just find it funny because pretty much everyone draws girls. Girls draw girls, and boys draw girls. Who draws them? Yeah.
Right, I guess.
Girls are just more fun to draw. Oh, yeah. I really like her watercolor stuff. I really like the, witchy kind of style. So... She did an Inktober, and I bought her little book of that, so she's really neat. And this is pretty much her forte. I like Pirate Girl, it's cool. So yeah, I think she's really cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Alright, back to our campaign. we left off with Tarina and Luna back in the courtyard of the Cathedral of Black Tears. And for just hurrying things along, we'll say you guys got back to the Braden estate, avoided the streets that were overly crowded or had, like, you know, suspicious guards. You do notice that the city is becoming more anxious as, like, a whole. People in the streets are whispering more. You see less people on the streets in general. There are more guards posted throughout the city, and you even saw them, like, searching some houses. So, like, it seems like the effort to find these fugitives is still ongoing.
How long have we been in the city again? 3 days?
It's like 3 or 4 days. You guys do a lot in one day.
That's what I would say.
You guys do a lot in one day.
How it goes indeed.
Alright, so we're back at the Braden house.
Alright. Luna, Tarina, how long do you want to stay my brother?
Oh, am I still your brother? I'm sorry. Cop out.
Oh.
You just casually forget. I don't know. What, she gets to be tall. I don't blame her.
You, for funsies, you see, Narte was actually, like, in the kitchen grabbing some food, and he, like, gave Tarina a little whistle, and then was like, aw, he went away.
Oh yeah, it's my brother.
Can I meet your brother? Is he available?
Sure.
I'll get back to you on that. And then he goes back into the cellar.
I don't know, where would we be in this?
You and... Let's see.
I guess it's just
you and Keyanthi would have just been chilling.
Yeah.
Are you talking to Canaris?
No.
It's not a bad thing. I'm just wondering.
So I'll say this, Keyanthi, you spend some time, you know, thinking about what Celiana said. And about, you know, acquiring these essentially informants. And we're like, who might be a good expert on this sort of thing? Who might be helpful? And as you're thinking, you realize that the arcane elves you met did mention that they were sent out to gather intelligence on foreign sea, and that they're probably basically spies.
Okay.
And they might actually have a valid opinion on who would be a good informant.
Okay, we're gonna realize them.
So yeah, there's that.
Alright then. That was a thought I had, as foretold by the DM.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Help action.
well, whatever I was doing, I guess I was sitting there, cross-legged or something.
Yeah, I imagine Keyanthi does a lot of meditation since she seems to like doing a lot of reflection and
Lots of
considering of like.
brain. Alright, okay. Well, sorry, forgive me. My brain is shot from work. The crane elves are the little runaways we have hiding, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah.
drinking up all the wine in the cellar? Alright, that's fine. Alright. Okay then. Keyanthi will look to Ellie and ask for, I don't know, company on there. She seems to be interested in one of them, right?
Yeah, I'm just kind of like carving because I have my wood carving tools, and I've just been carving like little like figurines. I mean, I guess I can join you.
You seem to be. Well, I know you're very productive with those carvings, but maybe you'd like to come down with me and help me ask some questions of our friends down who live in the cellar.
I mean,
If you don't want to, it's fine. I just wanted to offer it.
No, I want to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go. All right.
Okay, so
You can take it with you. You can share it off. You've been doing some great work.
Really? You
What did you carve?
like these?
Yeah, what did you carve?
Well, this one's like a frog.
Oh, cute.
I don't
I
have
like
a
it.
frog figurine.
Alright.
I have
I'm gonna walk
I
to
have
the cellar, I suppose.
a turtle. Okay, walk down to the cellar. What are they doing? It's evening.
Are they sweaty again? I have to know.
No, they're not. It's
Oh,
evening. They
okay.
do their workouts in the morning. Or, well,
okay.
I guess their schedule will be
The
kind
sweaty boy is only for me.
Their schedule, yeah, like, I'm like thinking about like their sleep schedule and I'm like, it'd be kind of off at this point. But no, they're, like, Farius is still deep in the books and like reading stuff. And he has like these essentially like kind of like a map sketched out and like a bunch of like historical documents. And then Narte just came down with like a bunch of food, so he's stuffing his face. And then I think Canaris would be doing like weapons maintenance, so he's probably like just like oiling the like metal or like the leather belts they have, something like that. So he's, you know, they're all just kind of crowded in there, sitting on the floor or a stool. You know, they brought a stool in, so yeah.
They brought a stool with them. That's creative.
Well, no, like Canaris stole the stool from upstairs in the kitchen and is like sitting on it, like kind of cleaning like the.
We'll bring it back.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Currently cleaning off the and maintaining the weapons.
Alright then, Keyanthi will walk up to, who's the one that, there's the space in the books, I know he just barely leaves
Farius.
Farius. We're gonna walk over to Farius and kind of hover over his shoulder. You know?
Okay.
Hey, what are you reading anyway? Hey, what are you reading anyway? You've just been stuck in that book the whole time I've seen you.
There's a really long pause, and then he's like, and he looks over the top of the book at you, and then closes it and says, I've been researching the underground. I've been researching the abyssal pathways.
You mentioned those before. Is that where you need to go next, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
those are the pathways we're going to take to the archaic empire.
Ah.
Correct.
How bad are they? Are they dangerous?
They're essentially uncharted and untouched for roughly a couple hundred years, so there's probably a lot of, he like flips through his notes and he's like, yeah, but it's, we can handle it.
Is there going to be a lot of demons there? I mean, it's probably called Abyssa for a reason, right?
He like flips through some other notes. I haven't actually found a lot of indication that there would be demons present.
That sounds fortunate.
But
especially
there
that's
does
where
seem
you
to
go.
be some indication of more nefarious magics down there. I couldn't pinpoint exactly what it is. But it could be the remnants of... There's a temple of Briotriarch down there. Could be that. So the records that I have are old.
Well, hopefully you found enough. It feels like you've been researching a lot.
Well, I had to construct a map from just the records that we've had.
Oh, wow. We definitely have to worry about that when we get to it. How long, you saying no one's known about these pathways?
Well, people have known about them for a long time, but they're not traversed very often because they're long and tend to go out of the way. There was an effort about 200 years ago to essentially make a more direct path between the Drow cities, and so its purpose was lost. It's like Route 66.
Yeah, I've seen cars. I know what that's about. Okay. Alright. Well, then we definitely should get lots prepared. Thank you so much for looking into this. I know that you need it for you, of course.
He just goes back into reading.
Great talk. Alright. Okay.
You look at Canaris and he's kind of just wincing, like. So, You need something?
Well, I suppose I don't know exactly what I'm looking for. Okay, like, time out. I literally don't know what I'm doing, Tiffany. I don't know what else to ask. I know, you're literally throwing bread in my face.
Okay, just ask him. Are you guys? I really want Keyanthi to just ask them, like, are you guys spies? Do you guys collect information? Are you good at that?
Fine. Ah! Gosh. Alright, fine.
That's what I want.
So, this is a little awkward to ask, but, if you have business here in the city total, something in the nature of, with, say, like, looking into details that shouldn't be looked into, and then also passing on those details to certain people that shouldn't know those details but really want to know are you spies?
Like, Kenaris had the most quizzical expression on his face for, like, the longest time, and then you said, are you spies? And he's like, what? No, of course not. I mean, maybe.
Maybe.
And then, like...
There's a possibility if you're not sure of it.
And Narte steps over and he's just like, bro, I got this. Like, technically, we kind of are. We weren't sent here to, Toro. We were sent to investigate the piracy that was in foreign waters, off of our coast. And then we got kidnapped like you guys, except, like,
right.
The submarine we submerged in the underground waters. And then surfaced there, and then, like, ran into, hit in the city. So, like, we kind of technically are, since spies are people that collect information in foreign countries. But we're not here for that purpose. We're just trying to go home.
I don't completely understand.
It's like,
just that... It sounds like it's such a difficult job. How do you guys know what you should be doing at any time?
Well...
Do you guys have spy stuff?
Well, basically, the biggest difference between just a soldier and a spy are that spies hire smarter. So we were trained in combat, and, particularly, like, one-on-one, or, like, for example,
So...
Kenaris is actually from more of a military background, as am I, but we, like, moved to a more specialized position because Farius is, like, really good at that stuff, so, like, we're selected as part of his team. And basically, we just go places, and then we make a report on what's happening, and then we send it back. And if people want to try to hurt us, we can defend ourselves, and that's kind of the job.
That's very true.
But most of the time, it's better to just, like, observe and not cause problems. More of a subtlety thing.
So,
yeah.
Spies just watch people?
Yeah. I mean, like, when we were on the ship, we were in the casino room pretty much the whole time.
Yeah.
I mean, the sun is also a problem, but, like, all the people we had to keep an eye on were there.
Man, I was
How many were there?
2 weeks. It's a long cruise.
That's a long cruise, but how many people were you watching?
How many was it?
Can you share that at this point? I mean, I don't want to.
And Kenaris kind of, like, scratches his chin and he's like, it was about, like, 8? It was, just, like, a couple of people of interest that we had, to keep an eye on. We can't tell you exactly for what, but we can tell you there were people that we were watching.
There were certainly people, I'm sure.
Yeah, like, mainly we were trying to figure out, like, all the reports prior to us going indicated that the piracy had an inside person. And so we were trying to figure out who that was.
Yeah,
Remember that
Then again,
explosion
that
on the
was-
ship and why it started sinking? We still don't know who did that.
Still not? Oh dear.
No.
Oh well. Well, hopefully, as we find our way back to your King Emperor, we'll have a way to figure that out for you.
Oh, don't worry about us. That's our job. We just need to get back alive at this point. That's part of the job. Sometimes you get information you need, and sometimes you get information that you don't need. You know.
So you guys don't have like grappling hooks or like wrist dials or anything like that? That's just what I've read in tomes. Well,
I mean,
cool
Kenny has
slides.
like a cool like. He's like, show her the thing, and then Kenny like pulls out this wrist guard and then clicks a button, and then like a little hidden blade comes out.
whoa!
And it's like, yeah, it's spring loaded, and he points at it, and it like goes over and shows you. Yeah, you just push this button and then you crank it back, and that's really neat.
Yeah, I don't suppose you use it that often, do you?
No, not really. We're more of, we don't, like, we haven't been assigned assassinations.
Cool. There you go. That's one less job I suppose you need to do. Huh. If, say, I don't know, someone who's really bad at doing these things that are smart, the thing, I don't know who, this is theoretical, purely theoretical.
Yeah, theoretically, that person's really smart. Or at least theoretically, I think so.
Oh, well, theoretically, thank you very much. Anyway. Listen, I need to set up some contacts for another, well, it's something it's hard to explain. I just don't know how to even get started with that. How do you make friends with the idea of recruiting someone to be a spy with you?
So, Narte is confused, but
Good.
Kenny goes, oh, you mean like an informant? Like,
Yes. I don't know the terminology. I'm new to this world.
we set up informants. Basically, they're just, people, someone that can get around and not really arouse suspicion. Usually barkeeps are actually really great because people come in all the time and tell them wild stories, and then they just, hear a lot of stuff. But, like...
I thought that was just in the tomes, but I suppose it's real if you would say so.
Yeah, like, pubs are an information hub. I mean, if you need someone in, like, a more specific place, like, almost anyone will do, you just kind of have to... Usually we find some sort of mutual ground with them, like, we'll supply you with information, or we'll give you money. I mean, usually people are pretty keen on, keeping their ear to the ground if, a bit of coin is flashed at them. Or sometimes informants like having information given to them in exchange for what they have.
I see.
Do you have people
Well, I have
in
more money
mind?
than I have information, so I suppose I'll just use one or the other. So, there you go.
Well, usually, we don't give them money. Like, we have an employer that does that.
Mm.
So,
Okay, I should probably consider something like that then.
do you have someone in mind? Like, it does get easier if that person already likes you.
Well, there is someone. I just have to go and find her. I feel like every time I go and find something awful, terrible, horrible happens, and you have to pay attention to that. So we have to work on that, I suppose. Yes, the daughter of the war matron. I'm interested in figuring out if maybe I can speak with her and see if she knows anything or of that nature.
I
Do you
mean,
know her? I mean, you don't have to say you do.
I mean, we've been in a cellar, so we know.
Great. Good. Okay, so
But, I mean, if you have a good rapport with her, then, like, it's already a good start.
That's the best I have. So I appreciate your vote of confidence, if you could call it that.
You got this.
Thanks! Whatever. Alright. I'm not forgetting nothing, dude, okay? I'm hungry. I gotta eat dinner. I'm sorry. I love you. I'm gonna be right back.
Okay.
Alright.
Okay, bye.
Okay, so Ellie and Keyanthi go back upstairs, and then Luna and Tarina come back. Hi, this is Tiffany, your DM. Thank you for watching Dungeon Damsels. This is not the end of the session, so please stay tuned for the next part. We update on Tuesdays and Saturdays at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you're interested in supporting us more, please push the subscribe button, like, or comment. We also have a Patreon, wink wink nudge nudge, and our show is in podcast form. You can find us on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Podbean, Spotify, and plenty of other podcast platforms. Thanks, we hope to hear from you soon.